Alright YouTube, what's up? This is Mark from Python for Trading here, and today I'm with my friend Nico, and we're in a car in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to discuss some particular topics that really bother us about the crypto community in general.
Yeah, well, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Nico. I am the one that does the thumbnails for the videos. As I don't really have any kind of educational background in finance or even trading. I've been trading for approximately 2 years. I have a separate view of trading than my buddy here when it comes to types of trading, and that my buddy likes to do algorithm trading, but I cannot get into algorithm trading in that I believe that every trade is unique and it's hard to automate that type of stuff, but whatever floats anyone's boat. But yeah, I was told that there's a lot of, hate for
Bad stigma.
bad stigma for people who short coins.
Yeah, short
right?
sell on BitMEX, Dbrit, etc. Those kind of exchanges. There's a lot of
I think you can short on Binance futures as well.
that's not out yet it's only out in like Japan or something.
Yeah, I've been looking into it. It looks pretty good. But anyways, people think that it gets a bad stigma and that, it's not supporting creators and something like that. So I don't entirely understand the argument. People also think of it from a market standpoint, which I don't agree with. The thing is, I don't think of crypto as a stock. I can understand when people are hesitant to short stocks because the market has an upward trend.
And the traditional stock market, yeah.
Yeah, traditionally, markets have an upward trend, so you're going to find more success longing than shorting. And, but I never, I don't see that kind of correlation with Bitcoin because it's gone, it's gone like years where it just explodes, and then it'll go 2-3 years as it did recently where it just, kind of died down. But now it's trying to consolidate, if it wants to go back up or back down. But it is a very good opportunity to short because by shorting, you're essentially saying to the broker that you bet that your US dollar is going to be more valuable compared to the value of
the stock.
Or not the stock,
or the crypto.
But the coin. And by doing that, you get more in crypto assets, not more in USD assets. That's another difference that separates it from other avenues of shorting. When you short a stock, when you short, it's not really correct to say you're shorting in Forex, but either way, in both cases, you're gaining money from betting that the stock or the asset's going to go down. But
well, here's the thing I like about BitMEX is that I trade my Bitcoin. My Bitcoin's converted into US dollar and Ethereum contracts. The value of the contracts go down, but I'm earning in Bitcoin, which doesn't depreciate as much as Ethereum does. So even though that, let's say the whole crypto market's going down, Ethereum could dump 13% and Bitcoin could dump 8%. But in terms of a USD value perspective, Bitcoin and Ethereum are both negatively depreciating, but Bitcoin still maintains the higher value. So when you get your payout, you're still going to have a US dollar gain, and that's going to be a big
it's not a US dollar gain.
Well, that's the way how I like to view it.
It's more that because you still have, at the end of the short, once you end the short trade, you still have the same amount in USD. You just have gained more in...
Well, like I said, I used to think the same way, but I also realized that Bitcoin is more stable, and it doesn't... Like I said, if we're going to compare... So other exchanges like Dbrit, when we insert Ethereum into the account, and when we short it, we gain Ethereum back. But because in BitMEX, we're only using Bitcoin as the base currency, we're earning Bitcoin back in the trade. So the US dollar, it still technically would have a higher US dollar compared to... Because we're just strictly sticking with Bitcoin, which is more stable.
Yeah, I think that it causes less confusion. Because you don't want to be looking into the price between Bitcoin and Ethereum and, comparing which is better to have your money in. I think Bitcoin's the better one since, we talked about volatility. And yeah, I think that's with shorting, you're gaining the amount. Technically, you can make more in USD value if you leverage.
Yeah, leverage shorting as well.
Yeah, you can leverage short and then you get some more from that. Though I would only recommend that depending on
your experience,
account balance and hedging and all that type of stuff. It is really it really depends on what you're doing. But I would say that it is you could make money from
leverage short selling.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think mathematically, you probably don't ever want to go higher than 5 times leverage. Because I could see some cases where anything above 5 times leverage is legitimately the most risky trade you could probably be in.
Yeah, because also
especially in crypto,
you don't want, because the thing is, the more you add into margin, the more the closer to your liquidation price is closer to your purchasing price, right? The closer and the thing is that once you have a liquidating price that's very close to your purchasing price, then you're fighting against a lot of odds, which is the noise in the market, even the spread, right? Yep. So it's a very uphill battle. That's why people should risk, calculate the risk accordingly to each trade. But yes, there is money to be made with shorting, and I would recommend shorting.
Actually, I would talk about this now. So I want to say that longing and shorting strictly on BitMEX is the most profitable venture. If you're just to use Binance by itself, you would not make as much money if you were to aggressively and proactively trade on both sides of the market. So, yeah. For example, let's just stick with Ethereum since we brought it up. So, Ethereum this year went from $80 to $360 plus. So, in my mind, if you're just on Binance, you can only make money realistically on the pump up. So, the other half of the year since I think June, right? So, you literally can't make money on Ethereum for 6 months now. It's a joke.
Well,
if you're not short selling,
yeah.
You'll make a measly 1% profit. But here's the thing: why would you risk your money for such a low reward? It's not even worth it to buy in a bear. There's been a bear market. We have to acknowledge that. So if you're gonna risk your money on something that's not even likely to pay off in your favor, it's not being smart to long in a bear market. So that's why short selling BitMEX bear market's a good idea.
Right. Also, I believe that's when it comes to people should scale in and out of each trade. So, I mean,
scalping?
No, scaling in and out just means that when they're in a trade, instead of having just one take profit, they have multiple take profits, and they step up their profit. They step up their profits. And
so they're
stop loss.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And that is one technique. But another thing which makes BitMEX one is the lower fees than Binance, as well as
literally the lowest fees. I can't argue with that.
Also the volume. I can't remember how much.
The liquidity, the volume, yeah.
Yeah, the amount of volume, because your trades are going to go through. If you're trading,
it's literally like a forex broker. So from my experience, I've been if I were to compare what exchange feels like a forex broker, it's definitely going to be BitMEX, because I could guarantee every time I open my trade, my market orders, my limit orders, anything I would try to do, BitMEX would always have the liquidity to always fill my order no matter what. Even on some very outlandish candle wick, the order will still be filled. I'm genuinely surprised. Because what I used to trade a lot on Binance and Bittrex, and most of my order would get filled, and towards the end, my order would always hardly get filled. There's not enough liquidity in those exchanges.
Yeah, it's hard. If you have an account balance over 20,000, it's hard to
get your whole order filled. It's a joke.
And the problem is that you'll get partial. Let's say you have a price at 200, right? You get part of it filled up. It's going up, and now you have part of it at 200, part of it at 202, part of it at 205. So you're basically losing profits by that's kind of low volume, and it's, yeah.
Is there anything else? Let me just check the time. You want to go for 1 minute, or you think that's good?
That's fine.